So with that, everybody is unique, right? And so we have a quote here from the Guide to Better Movement. We do not need each of our movements to be biomechanically perfect in order to avoid pain and to have good function. And indeed, many people with seemingly inefficient movement patterns have no pain, and vice versa. However, movement is one of the many sources of stress in life, and we would rather have less stress than more. And when we say movement, we're saying movement as a whole, they're saying movement as a whole, but some movement can be a source of stress in life, while some movement can be healing. And for us, it's discerning which of the two it's going to be in the moment. So this is about discernment. And so we brought this up because one of the first things we hear when it comes to therapeutics is this idea of like, just fix your posture. Just fix the person's posture and the pain will resolve, right? And we wanted to bust that myth sort of upfront, that there is no such thing as one perfect or one ideal posture for every single person. It doesn't exist. We're going to learn about all the things that inform posture, but posture is an output. It's not the thing that like determines pain. It's determined by pain. So, well, and there are nuances to that. So we'll get into the nuances of that and the gray area. But as a general blanket statement, I'm saying that up front, and then we'll walk it back and learn all the nuances around that. So there's no such thing as perfect posture, ideal movement, or correct asana alignment. That's another piece of it. There's no such thing as a correct asana alignment that applies to everybody. The best movement pattern is the one that works for you in this moment. I just want to say that. Erin, do you want to keep going or should I?
Do you want me to take a couple and then you
go for it?
You get a hot minute.
Yeah.
By the way, we wish it was possible that we could just both teach this entire course. It's just like together. It's not wholly possible, but we might drop in on each other once in a while.
Yeah.
You never know. So this is my favorite time. So what do you think? And this is another question for the group. Movement is determined by. So what makes you move the way you move that's different from the box of the person down or to the side or above you on the screen? What makes your movement your movement? What are the elements of life? We're starting with real small questions. What's yoga?
What's yoga? Real small.
Why do we do anatomy? Yeah, genetics, injuries, culture. Absolutely. Those are three big ones. Life experiences. Yeah, which kind of go into those. Feels good and right to me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it feels good and right to you because of your life experiences, emotional states, genetics, injuries, and culture. Environment. Yeah, absolutely. Awesome answers. Yeah. It's exactly. Yep. Prana. Yeah. And prana is like the determination of how prana moves in your body, right? What we know might be also my life experiences. Like if I did, if I did skiing my whole life, or I did yoga asana as the physical thing that I do the most, I'm going to have a very different movement of prana in my body, right? Especially because yoga goes beyond asana and goes into pranayama, which is the movement of prana through the body, right? So pretty cool. So these are exactly the things that movement is determined by. Oh, come on, go back. There we go. So culture, where we grew up. So culture is not only where we grew up, but who were the guardians or what was the household in which we grew up, because that is the culture of your family, right? So the culture of my family might have been taken out of the country of origin and put somewhere else, but the culture within the dome of my guardianship, whoever was the people who raised me or were raised with me, and that might have been multiple homes for some people, or it might have been a singular home or anything in there. But the culture of that, I'm going to say, is also your culture. So the culture going beyond kind of just the country in which your culture is being practiced. Definitely your genetics, your movement and activities. So as I mentioned, what if I was a skier all my life, or what if I practiced yoga asana as my major physical output? Who knows? So that's going to determine how I do things. Also epigenetics. So genetics, think of genetics as they are hard and fast, they are set in stone. But epigenetics are something that can get turned on and off within a lifetime. So you're not messing with the genetic makeup of somebody, but you're playing with these other parts of your body that, or your say makeup, we'll just call it that can be turned on and off in a lifetime. So say I am 8 years old, and for 5 years there's a major drought in my area, and I'm someone who subsists on the land. That major drought is going to fundamentally change the stressors in my life, right? It's going to change how my body is interacting with my mind with my body, my spirit, and the world in a pretty large fashion. So that's going to potentially turn on or off some epigenetic proclivities in my body, let's say, or things that might come up. And that, depending on what I do in the rest of my life, can be passed along to my offspring if I have them at about a 50% chance. So things have come up. I'm going to talk a little bit more about epigenetics in a moment, but not a ton because I'm not a geneticist. But just thinking of it, they've looked at it with intergenerational trauma and how even beyond nurture, what is coming from Holocaust survivors has been a major group that has been studied in this, and other groups that have had major genocide and oppression put upon them by other people. And so what is essentially coming down the pipe that can be presented more often in the offspring of people who have been through those major events. And so they see certain things that start to come up in the next generation that go beyond a nurture thing. So it goes beyond something that can just be about the way you're raised because of trauma. And then injury. And I'm going to add into this, that's both physical and psychological injury or trauma. So car accident, absolutely. You could break your leg in 4 or 5 places, let's say, and that is going to change your movement patterns. That is going to change the way in which you move.